divide between inside and outside, inside and outside, is caused by the delusion. The more you contemplate and contemplate on deep sleep, there is no problem. No one has a problem. Everyone has almost the same deep sleep. There is no situation, there is no people, there is no challenges. Why? Because the mind is not there and the body is not there. In dream state, it is an imagined challenges or imagined pleasure or imagined fear. Because why there's an imagine? Because the moment we wake up, the dream story is gone. Dream story is gone. So in the waking state only we have nothing but the duality. In the waking state I say, this is me, this is the world, this is me, this is honey, this is me, this is my bank account, this is me, this is my house, this is, and the duality enters into our, in the waking state. How the duality enters? By the mind. That mind was totally absent in the deep sleep. We live in the same house, we live with the same people, we live with the same business, but in deep sleep, no problem. In waking state, all the problems as if they enter into it. Contemplate and reflect again and again and again. So I wake up, say for example, I wake up in the morning and it's a bad morning and then I have a problem in the body. I become aware of so many things every day. Oh, there is a challenge, everything is going well, there is no attack now. Now at least, could feel safe. In deep sleep, there is no problem of safety and insecurity. So now one question comes that how my mind is influenced and dictated by outer situation, people, relationship, and why? First, we should answer these two questions. The more and more we contemplate and reflect, the mind enters into that clarity. Oh, in deep sleep, mind is not there. So the one question arises, one solution arises. So if my mind perceives the outer situation as it is not influenced. It perceives the situation as it is. That is known as the equanimity in yoga. We say samatvam yoguchyate. That is why our masters, they have explained in detail, there is a duality of pain and pleasure, likes and dislikes, profit and loss, victory and defeat, attachment and detachment. It is the mind that perceives in this way. So I do not forget myself in pleasure. I do not get extremely upset in pain. So if I do not get upset in pain, or I do not get influenced by, or I do not forget myself in pleasure. Normally we forget ourselves in pleasure. And that pleasure is related to my mind and sense organ, either the objects of the senses, and the mind says, oh, that mind picks up the object perceived by my sense organ, and then starts living with the duality. I should have pleasure. If I don't get it, I will have pain. I have invested this much of money in this project, and if I don't get the return, profit and the loss, oh, you don't listen to me, you are my wife or husband, it means that then there is a problem. Nature. So, this is the impulsive nature of the mind. So, both are required, knowledge, clear knowledge, understanding, plus the practice. So the knowledge drops my duality and attachment, and the practice removes those impressions. Both are required, knowledge and the practice of meditation. That is what we are trying to understand. Say, for example, you wake up in the morning, and I have told you hundred of times, it's a my mind impulsively says it's a bad morning. When my intellect comes into service, intellect says, what is bad in the morning? Where is the problem? So that helps me to raise awareness. It is not possible in animals. Animals are doing the same thing again and again. Think of it. One lion has become old enough, it cannot control the entire group, and the young lion, maybe his son, fights it out. Now, that old lion, I was watching on Discovery that this old lion now lives alone. It does not have a power to catch the prey, so it lives at a distance with that group. So if any prey is caught, their belly is full, they leave that place, the old lion goes there and it depends. Am I living in the same way? Am I living in the same way? So all my divorce, duality, conflict with the people, situation, relations tell the story of my old life. Either I react. Sometime what happens, the old lion, they say, today I am defeated, but I am going to fight it out. So sometime the old lion defeats the younger ones, and again they become the master. It is all impulsively guided, dictated. So now I have to understand that this impulsive nature is bringing any result in my life. Means that impulsive mind, which is controlled and governed by the nature, is not helping me to rise in awareness. One, it is not also helping me in evolving, it is also not helping me in calming down my stress and suffering. Because every day I wake up in the morning and mind is impulsively guided and dictated by the outer situations, and then I start working out of the impulses and I live in ignorance. One master says, one master says, yeah, Shankaracharya, one master, the Shankaracharya says, there are three blessings and the grace in our life. First grace is that we are a human being. Human being means I have a mind, I am programmed by the nature, and I can take over the nature. That is our intellect. So my intellect gets the right knowledge, impulsive nature, I'm not supporting it, reaction, I'm not supporting it. Oh, I forget myself in extreme pleasure. No, I will not forget. And when there is a pain, will have an endurance. Why? I cannot change the outer world. I can definitely not cannot change. I can bring about some changes, but that changes is not going to take care of my pain, pleasure, likes, dislikes, attachment, and detachment. I have to examine that this attachment and detachment, this pain and the pleasure, this profit and the loss is a conception of the mind created out of ignorance. What is conception? I am rich or poor. How I am rich? I have $10 million in my bank account. Question is, am I happy? Am I in peace? Will I will I keep this $10 million? I will not spend. Anything outside is to change hands. In order to have all kinds of pleasure, I have to spend this $10 million in different projects. I just heard, I was reading just CNN News, one liner, a $95 million jet bought by Jeff Bezos, Amazon owner. Now question is, why this news? Because of the impulsive nature. Our nature is to seek the pleasure. So every news house has to publish this news. And I'm influenced now. I'm influenced. My mind impulsively says, oh, I cannot afford it. Why I cannot afford it? Because I do not have a pleasure. So what the master has said, we should examine. Examination. Who examines the mind? Who examines the intellect? Intellect has to examine and observe carefully the influences coming from the world and dictate. So when I don't examine, I'm driven by impulses. So when I'm driven by impulses, that state of being driven by impulses is known as the foolishness. Known as the foolishness. Yesterday, did you hear? I maybe you know, did not hear the news. A young boy in Georgia, Atlanta, he killed two teachers by gun and two students. Ultimately, the cops controlled the boy and he was sent to the jail, and his case will be tried as if he is an adult, not a adolescent. So all the charges will be leveled. Understand, this is what happens. One side the cop is there, other side the boy is there. The boy has a bad intention. That bad intention comes from the impulsive nature to kill the people by the gun. Cop also has a gun, but the cop has a good intention. If the cop kills the boy, everyone will praise the cop. And if the boy has killed, and there was lot of problem, flower and tributes, and people are talking gun control, etc. That happens in America almost every month. But we are trying to understand, one is the impulsive nature. Impulsive nature creates a bad intention. Impulsive nature creates a confusion. So when I don't examine my life, I don't use the intellect. The first is the foolishness, and because of that foolishness, I create likes and dislikes. So this boy created a hatred against the whites, and hatred reached to the point where he thought, let me kill. Impulsive nature. So, because of the likes and dislikes, there is a sense of attachment and detachment. Because of that attachment, look at the psyche of the boy. So, this boy, because of the intense attachment to revenge, intense attachment to kill, created a thought pattern, and that is what is known as the emotional dependence that results into a selfishness. Selfishness is nothing but the ego, and in case of a very deep sense of the ego, my intellect is paralyzed. Now the intellect cannot think. It only thinks the way the mind has supplied the information. I am attached. Oh, this guy did wrong thing to me, and there is only one option but to kill. So I will just try to arrange the gun, which is easily available in US at anywhere. You just show the social security and you get the gun. You can buy any. Take it in our daily life. I'm trying to go back again. In a waking state, I have to recognize this impulsive mind. And I have to use the intellect. Ah, my honey is crazy. Hold on. Intellect says, hold on, stop this nonsense. Why he or she is crazy? What happened? So I should analyze, I should observe why my mind is being impulsive. My first goal should be every day in the morning is to get rid of this impulsive nature. Why? Because it will help me to live in the state of the calmness. I will not become the boy. I will not shoot my honey, but I will divorce. I will fight. That is equivalent to the shooting. The same thing applies to our siblings. Same thing applies to our employees. The same thing the Putin is doing. Just selfishness, ego. Now there is no other problem. He knows he cannot win the war. He knows it's 100%. So by ego, he wants to hurt. One thing is very clear. At least the West has done this thing is good. The West has done this thing good. That at least you cannot win the war. There is no chance. But both have an ego. So here also we have an ego. There also we have a problem. Yes, come to the main topic. So what masters have done it, in order to understand this impulsive nature, the master says that there are three types, three groups of suffering. One is caused by the others. It means I'm influenced and dictated by the outer situation. It may be caused by my honey, it may be caused by the outer situation, it may be caused by my relations, people, it may be caused by the snake can bite me or mosquito can bite me. I enter into the dengue fever or etc. It may cause the food poisoning. So that is the first group. Physical or mental. I have to apply the intellect. I have to apply the intellect. My mind was saying that, oh, yesterday you should take the Indian bread, and I say it's a carb. I have to take care of my this body as long as it lives. And the intellect says no, and I agree to it. So physical, mental, emotional challenges caused by others. Second group is the physical, mental challenges caused by myself. I start thinking I have a bad intention, I have a negative thought against someone, I have to get rid of it. And third is the natural calamities, including the war. Huh? Luckily, I have not been in Georgia. Otherwise, I should also have been killed. So that is the blessing of the existence. So I have to look into each and every situation in a waking state to get rid of this impulsive nature of the mind. 50% of my problems can easily be avoided. Oh, my neighbor is so rich and he has three cars, I have only one. Outer influence. Outer influences. I have to become aware. Ah, my honey is crazy and she reacted to me. Now the time I will also settle the score. I will also react. Impulsive nature. That is what I told you. So we have, in order to awaken myself, to reach, to recognize that real self, I have to get rid of this mechanical, habitual, impulsive nature of the mind. That is, in one way, we say it is the purity of the mind. So I talked about the one first three graces and the blessing. First grace is that I'm a human being. I can think, I can analyze, I can find the cause and effect which I'm not using, or when I'm using the intellect, it is dictated by the mind. If the intellect contains the strong likes and dislikes, then definitely I have a problem. My intellect is paralyzed and it is following the mind, it is following the impulsive nature. Day before yesterday, this woman said, now one thing is settled. I said, what is settled? So I have a divorce paper with me. I said, very good. So what is your next? Pay attention. That's a very important point I'm raising. So I said, what is your next step? I have to settle the score with my ex-husband. I have to bring him on the road so that he will understand how strong I am. I said, very good. So what is your third step? This is your second step. Then I will relax. I said, why don't you relax now? First you relax and then we will fight. So you are waiting, this action, this reaction should be done in order to relax as a third step. No, no, he has done this. And I said, that now another point, that is what our masters are raising, that's a very interesting point. Very interesting point. So this master says that I have a bad intention about you. What I will get? I don't get anything. So I told her that yes, I have a bad intention because he had a bad intention against me. But he is suffering. You also want to suffer. Why don't you have a right intention? In the morning, I explained this boy had a bad intention to kill the people with this gun. Cop has a right intention to kill the boy. Outer action is the same. Gun in the hand, and I have to kill. Cop says I have to kill. Very clear. No sin. But when the boy killed four people, he he created unfavorable circumstances. That is what I said. That is all the sin, and he is caught. He is sent to the jail. So, because of the three groups of this suffering, my mind becomes impulsive nature. It creates a bad intention. I have to get rid of it. Because once I have a bad intention, I use the body, I use the mind, use the intellect, I use the other resources. That is what this boy did. but we kill silently because we are dictated and influenced by the outer situation. And that causes a lot of stress in our daily life. That causes the impurity. We are more concerned about that this impurity should not be there. If the impurity is not there, we will find the real self. Go back what I said. Mind, I'm awake, yes. Is it possible for 5 minutes let me have the same state of mind which I had in deep sleep? So I'm awake, any thought comes, and I know that it is going to cause the attachment and detachment through the knowledge, through understanding, through awareness. I said, no, I don't want this. You say in your mind, I don't want this. No, not this thought, not this thought, not this thought, not this thought. Keep the mind blank. By knowledge, by understanding, by reflecting. So that is why we say the knowledge and the meditation are both are important. So you continue to practice meditation, the time comes, knowledge takes over. It may be 50-50 now, the knowledge becomes 80%. I understand, oh, the cause of anxiety is someone outside, some situation outside. I don't allow that situation to affect me. By understanding, I live into that awareness, anxiety is gone. That is very important in our daily living. Why in a daily living? Because of that I perform the nitya karma perfectly. Otherwise, mind is impulsive and then I want to do the nitya karma, it will not work. It is not work. This women, another woman, I've been doing the practice of meditation, and you told me about that I should contemplate and reflect, and I reflect before I practice meditation, and I have lot of anxiety, reaction, duality, and a conflict in my mind, and it takes very long time. Then only the mind is directed to the meditation. I said, ask the question why. We'll talk in detail, but I'm just giving the principle coming from the Gita. I told you an example of the boy, gun, bad intention. Cop, gun, good intention. His only goal is to safeguard security. What is the difference? So Krishna gives you the principle. What is that principle? Sense organs and the mind together seeking pleasure, avoiding pain outside. But cop, mind, mind getting rid of all the influences from the external world, putting the right intention, ready to shoot the boy is the cop. So the master says, mind with the sense organ, mind with the motor organs. Mind with the motor organs will take the action. I'm speaking. Yeah. Very subtle nature. So I recognize mind with the pleasure, pain, looking for outer situations, or the mind is looking for clarity, what I have to do here and now in this situation. Can I have a sense of givingness? Can I have a sense of response? Can I have a sense of calmness and peace? So the cop wants to kill the boy with a good intention. That cop is the intellect has taken over the mind. Mind with the sense organ seeking the pleasure, the intellect has been taken over by the impulsive mind. Krishna explains in a different way. He says that if you have this dual nature, what is inside and what is outside, they will always be in conflict, and that conflicting situation is nothing but you are a hypocrite. What is your intention inside? The boy did not open it. He brought the gun. But the cop is open. Cop is a gun in his hand. Open. And if one is with the cop is with the gun, nobody is afraid. Especially we normal people, social people are not scared. But if anyone else is with a gun, pointing the gun, we know that we are going to be killed. Impulsive nature. So Krishna says when you have those dual nature in your mind, in your head, inside, it is causing lot of problem. You are a hypocrite. You will not be able to progress into meditation. So we are talking about the three grace. One is the human being is the grace, being a human being or born as a human being. And the second grace is that I'm learning Eastern wisdom. First time I recognize here is a false eye and here is a real eye. I can intellectually even understand. By experience I know it. Second grace is that knowledge is there. Knowledge of the real self and knowledge of the false eye is there. I have to help my mind to grasp, assimilate, digest this knowledge of the false eye and the real eye through contemplation and reflection. And the third grace I always keep inside my head that I have to reach and realize my real self in this very birth. I should think of it. No, I should recognize. Are my thought, speech, and action going against the process of realization? Let me drop it. You may think you will get more benefit. It's better to drop the more benefit for a small period of time. Why? Because I want to keep the good intention all the time. Keeping the good intention means the mind should always be calm and relaxed and aware. Three grace. Being a born as a human being, I'm learning Eastern wisdom. So this master says that you get a teacher. So I'm just saying, not a teacher, but the knowledge. Knowledge is more important. What the teacher gives. And the third is that I have an intense desire for awakening. I will take the food that I like. Yes, take it. But that keep that desire intact in your head. That I have to reach, I have to recognize the real self. And if you remember, the real self is of the nature of all pervading. I have to discover what is uncreated in the entire creation. I don't see what is uncreated anywhere, in any situation. That is what the real I is. But then we have also understood that the cause and effect relationship, cause of the prakriti or the matter, first effect is the space. Very good, infinite space. Second effect is the object in the space. Or you think my house, then your house, then many houses. in the same space. So every cause and effect becomes the cause becomes the effect. That is why we have a car, we have a smartphone, we have this physical body given to us by our parents. So you see, the cause and effect relationship continues. I have to find out what is beyond this cause and effect, what is uncreated. I should keep my understanding and awareness. Third grace, that I should have an intense desire. So let us move further from here. What is visible? I'm laying a very strong foundation. What is visible? One, what I experience. Two, what I see, feel, smell, taste. Cannot be me. The one who is aware of all is me. I see the monitor, I see your image, I see my image, I see the how, whatever I see, just instantly the intellect comes, oh, this is not me. Oh, I see the body, not me. So the one who perceives everything is me. So that perceiver is me, and you see that that perceiver is the same yesterday, today, last week, last year. That perceiver is the same. So we keep our mind alert. Whatever I see is not me, so there is no problem. There is no issue of attachment and detachment. Let me allow the intellect to tackle this situation, this relationship, so I don't allow the impulsive mind to come into being, and then I rise in awareness. That is what J. Krishnamurti says. You have to live in an extraordinary awareness. You have to remain as an observer or the knower in the midst of what you see, feel, experience is going to take you to a deeper state of meditation. You just have a sense of awareness. You're lying down on the bed. Yes, I'm lying down on the bed. Oh, I could see the body is lying down, so I'm not it. I'm not the body. Not at all. Body has the name in the form. Behind that, who is perceiving? Meditative state does not know whether you are lying, sitting, or standing. It is a constant state of the consciousness. Another problem that many seekers do. Oh, so I have to get rid of what is seen. No, you need not to get rid of what is seen. You need not to get rid of the waves to understand and see it is all water. So, how our masters arrive at an awakening? The wave depends on the water, but the water does not depend on the wave. Clay pot is dependent on the clay. What is clay pot? It is all clay. What is wave? It is all water. What is this body? It is all five elements. which I cannot see in its purest form, but in a mixture form I see it. And because this body is constantly changing internally, so yes, who is aware of that? Yes, there is something who is the knower and the observer. The Krishnamurti says, I have to move into an extraordinary awareness, being an observer of what is being observed. Nobel laureate of physics from Britain, Huxley or someone, 50, 60 years ago, he says there is a why I see an object. So there is a fraction of millisecond of difference between what I perceive outside, and then it creates the observer and observed. It creates the knower and the known. It is because of the distance or difference. Otherwise, observed and observer, known and the knower is one phenomenon. Wave in the water is one phenomenon. But my mind creates a distance, very fraction of a millisecond. And the wave depends on the water, effect depends on the cause, and the cause is the knower. That knower is the real self. It is all pervading. You see, just simple example. When you say you are there and I am here, so I'm referring the body. I'm not referring the real self. It's a reference point is the body. Look at it. So what I wanted to give you that awareness that I have not to uh, be crazy about the body. I have only to understand that I am not the body. I am not the mind. I have only to understand. Understand means that I live into that awareness. And that is why we discussed in the very beginning sleep, no body in the mind. Waking state, there is a body in the mind. Can I remove the sleep state from my life? It is one life. Oh, if it is one life, it means I am beyond the waking state, dream state, and sleep state. I am not a waker, I am not a sleeper, I am not a dreamer also.
But if have to be fraction by microsecond between object and observer,
Yes.
and between real self and mind, it cannot be any distance or any fraction of a second.
Because the mind is looking outward, so it created a superficial distance. The mind, because of the perception, because the mind takes the role of a knower, so it created this distance. Here I am, and there you are. So that is why we say the mind should go inside and merge with the real self. It is the same example. Moon does not have a moonlight. That is the meaning of merging. Moon does not have a moonlight. It is all sunlight. It is reflected sunlight is the moonlight. It is the reflected consciousness is the mind. You are right. There is no difference. You are perfectly right. But the way it is reflected, I claim the reflected light is me. And that is the ignorance that I have to drop it. And the same example our masters gave. There are 10 different pots full of water. It is in the afternoon. The sun is reflected in the water lying in the 10 pots. So we cannot say there is a 10 sun. It is only one. Similarly, the moment I wake up, house, wall, you multitude, millions of objects comes into my head. It is because of the mind. Oh, there is a monitor and there is a bed and there is a mouse. Oh, look at it, look at this mind. Creates a delusion. So that distance is due to the ignorance. That mind is the moonlight. It is in that reflected light. In so that reflected light is nothing but the water in the bucket, and that bucket is the body. And then the mind creates another level. You are different from me. I am different from you. No, but why the consciousness is not reflecting into the body? It's a very coarse, it's a very gross material. I need something where the consciousness can reflect. So, mind is the subtlest of the matter where it can reflect. Well, the sun cannot reflect on the stone, but the sun can reflect on the water on the mirror. Both are matter, even though both are matter. So, this is what we need to continue to understand and live into that awareness of either you can say the cause and effect, knower and the known. Anytime, anything I experience the pleasure of eating pasta, I simply remember. I'm not throwing pasta, I'm not crushing my tongue. I live into that awareness. How long that taste of the pasta remain in the tongue? Hardly 5 or 10 minutes. And then I swallowed. My digestive system did not experience any pleasure as I experienced in the tongue. See that? Look at it. Look at the with the same thing with the smell and objects of our sense organs. And there is a perceiver, there is a knower. Knower is aware all the time. So we should not forget. So the master says, find out this impulsive nature, likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure, victory and the defeat, profit and the loss, attachment with any object. It creates a feeling as if the sunlight is there, but it is not there. Once I depend on anything, what I experience, what I think, what object I perceive, mind has already gone outside. So we can also say it means that third grace is that I should keep my mind 100% awareness that this is what I want to, what is the purpose of my life. The purpose of my life is to find the real self and discover the real self. That is the third grace. If that if that determination is there in the mind and it lives with the fire, it lives with the tremendous energy. That is the first. That's third one. Second is the knowledge. We find the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom so that everything becomes clear. Whether you say cause and effect, whether you say false I or the real I, whether you say what is creation and what is uncreated. Anyone. So, with that understanding, I sit into meditation because I'm a human being. I can sit in meditation. I cannot teach any animal the journey of meditation because of the absence of the intellect. We are not saying that we are superior than them. No, we are trying to understand that we can live in higher awareness. We can get rid of the impulsive nature. We can get rid of the habitual nature. We are simply saying that we don't have anything against any living being. So people get a wrong notion that I have to get rid of this body, and then they go to the Himalayas, they stand on one foot, and they get more frustrated. So, knowledge. Now you see the knowledge being a human being and the intense desire for freedom or to know the real self. So, the knowledge should build a relationship with my intense desire so that I can get rid of the impulsive nature of the mind. That is what the purity of the mind we have done many a times. So that is what is explained principally, I will just say academically. So the master says one has to be a qualified seeker. Second factor, he says one has to have a clear what is the subject matter. Subject matter is the real self, but I'm surrounded by what is false I, what is objects outside. Third is the result. Result is twofold: bring an end to the suffering and awaken to my real self. So I have to relate all the three: qualified seeker by knowledge to the goal, qualified seeker by knowledge to the subject matter. Again, the knowledge will come. What is the subject matter? Real self. Then what is the false I? Oh, here it is the false I. All my experiences, just take only one thing. All my experiences, my perception, the objects that I have seen until today, I'm going to see in the future belongs to the known world seen. I am none of them. So the first principle, I'm just revising it. First principle that we saw that I am a human being. So I should prove that I am a human being. How I should prove? I wake up in the morning and mind says it's a bad morning. Stop this nonsense. My honey is doing this. Stop this nonsense. First, my mind should be clear. Yes, then I will say, oh, my honey has done this, so let me understand the cause and effect and see that how I can respond in my life. Why? Because I want to keep the mind in the state of awareness. And the third one, the intense desire. That is one. Second principle, that how to recognize, because I have lot of challenges in my life and I forget it. Maybe I fell down, I have a knee problem, I will go for a operation, the surgery, and the doctor puts the plaster. So I forget that there are three groups of this suffering. They do not belong to me. They are the objective reality. Physical, it is caused by others, it is caused by me, it is caused by the nature. And at the same time, I have the third principle, that I am a qualified seeker. I'm very clear about the subject matter. It cannot be found anywhere in the temple, churches, with the priest, with the vision. Oh, I have lot of vision in my experiences. So that is also experience. So any experience cannot be me. One guy who took a good lesson with me, or maybe I'll send you the video. I recorded his session. So he said that I'm awakened, so I have a beautiful experiences 10 years ago, and then I started a corporate program. Oh, so because of the awakening, you started a corporate program. Very good. I love it. So he is very wise and intelligent. He devoted his entire life in the stock, and he had almost 30-40 million dollars. So I said, very good. So, no, 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 I'm saying something else. I said, no, you had an experience of awakening 10 years ago. What is that experience? I saw the blue light. I saw then it converted into the yellow light. I said, do you still have the experience, same experiences? No, that experience is gone. I said, your awakening is gone. You're not awakened. How can you say that you're awakened? And he just said, I appreciate Mr. Jha. That seems to be a very important question to me. You are right. He agreed to it. But then what happened? His mind was impulsively directed. He said, no, no, we will collaborate together. I teach in the corporate sector. So now you see that to impress me, he was just doing different breathing practices in order to relax. So, so he introduced me to a guy in Netherlands who happened to be in the stock also. That's how they are connected. So this guy might have taught him this breathing practices. So he gave me the breathing practice for an hour. And definitely, breathing practices helps you to calm down your mind and purify the mind. And then he said, you see that neuroplasticity and this thing happen. So I explained to him that, these are the researches have been done and this is the impact of the breathing. After that, they both did not contact me. He wanted to impress upon that this French guy, no, Netherlands, Dutch guy. So if I give a lesson from the Dutch guy, he will collaborate. Means that he will give his practices, share the revenue when he give these practices with my students. So his intention, that was his intention. So now he has not contacted me for the last, almost it happened maybe more than a month or so. So qualified seeker, subject matter, and the goal should be clear in our head. That is all for